Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I have a quick video for you today. Real quickly, I just wanted to shoot this video. I know it's been a while since I've done one, and the ones I've been doing lately are fairly short. I'm going to stick to that. I think people just, are short on time, short attention spans. So I'm going to cover one thing and one thing only in this video, and that is this market cycle chart. So obviously, at this point, we're in, October of 2023, and the top of the crypto market came 2 years ago next month. So 2 years since we topped out. If we look at previous bear markets and bear market cycles, if you go back and look at like 2017's top, it bottomed at about a year later. And, by the time we were 2 years out, we were somewhere in this ballpark here, give or take. I guess it'd be about 720 days, 730 days. So kind of in this ballpark here. Could be that we're seeing the same thing. That would make sense to me if you think about this and say, hey, this was the bottom of the market. It could be that this was kind of a similar area here. We had this false rally, this dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, and then this big move back down to the disbelief. Now, at the time when this happened, the government came out, the U.S. government, the Fed, money printing started happening, and they started injecting liquidity into the market. And I believed at the time, and I still believe today, that had it not been for those actions, this actually would have been much worse and went much lower. We also had sites like BitMEX at the time halted trading. There was rumors and talk that had they not halted trading, the liquidation engines would have actually sent Bitcoin to zero. So hard to say exactly how low this would have went, but it definitely, there's a lot of manipulation that, is verifiable that stopped it from going lower than it did. So I do think there is some argument to be made that this back here and this over here is probably similar, and we could still have this one big drop to go. Again, that kind of lines up with the time frames, so think about this. So this was this COVID drop, pull this out. From the top to the bottom was about 819 days. And if we look at the top, I know the top is showing back here in March of 2021, but this is a relative strength chart. The actual top versus US dollars occurred here in October. So if we go out 800 and, how many days is that? 819 days. We're going to get something that looks like that there. So that would be January of 2024. Now, again, who knows what's going to happen, but this doesn't look all that different from back here. It really doesn't. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes to pass. If we measure this from the top of the relative strength chart, we're already well past that point. We're at 900 plus days. Okay, and again, that's why I say this is a little different than past cycles. Let me save this, and if we go back in time and we look at like this cycle here, it bottomed from the top to the bottom was about 409 days. Okay. So look at the bottom, top to the bottom. And this cycle, not talking about the COVID drop, but just the actual bottom, it was about 365 days. And if we look at the top, to the bottom so far here, it was over 600 days. If we use the top in November, that would be at about 389 days. So if you're measuring it, that way, from the top in November to the bottom in November, the following year, about 1 year later, of course, that cycle was about 12 months. And so again, there are similarities, but there's also some key differences. One of the key differences being this weird complacency top versus relative strength, when at the same time we didn't have that versus US dollars. So me personally, I still think long-term, okay, and this is not advice, but I still think long-term Bitcoin is probably going to be a positive investment, meaning that at some point in the future, it will be worth more than it is today. But I also believe that there's probably going to be a point in the future before then that it's worth less, meaning before we have this next bull cycle and all that, I think Bitcoin still has some pain ahead. You might ask, well, what would change your mind on that? Really, what would change my mind on that is if we take out this high back here in April of 2023, because that would make me think this was probably depression back here, and that this was actually going to be the disbelief rally, and this was the disbelief sell-off. And if we take this out, it would make me believe that we were probably moving into the hope phase of the market cycle. Right now, I still lean a little bit more toward this being anger and all of this being more like this through here and depression yet to come, okay? But we shall see, because again, if this plays out like 2019 did, it's very possible that this is disbelief right here and that this was our disbelief sell-off. And like the COVID area, we may have a little more sell-off to go, and then a run starts. What I would say is if you've made it this far and you're still watching cryptocurrency and more specifically watching Bitcoin, don't give up. Don't give up hope. It's when people give up hope that the market tends to go on that next brilliant run. Now, that being said, I still have a lot of skepticism about the U.S. equities markets. You know, I think especially the U.S. tech market is very, very overbought right now. And so I still do tend to believe that there could be some pain ahead for the U.S. equities. And of course, you know, Bitcoin has shown in the past to be a correlated asset. So if U.S. equities experience some pain, you know, Bitcoin could also experience pain. But that being said, and I don't want to get into stocks a whole lot, but I want to show you a stock chart just so you kind of see what I'm thinking. If we look at like the dot-com bubble, the bubble was fast, okay? Not fast like a week or a day or anything like that, but the bubble was quick. Once it popped, once we got this complacency bounce back here, it didn't take very long for that market to bottom. I want to say it was about a year off the top of my head. So from the top or the complacency to the bottom was about 2 years, about 770 days. So if we're looking at this apples to apples, there's definitely some similarities here. Like this would be like the 2000 top. This complacency bounce came in late 2000. So this would be like our complacency bounce. Main difference being this only took about 6 months. This has taken, 2 years, right? Crazy how long this has taken. But if that's complacency, then, it could be that we have that move back down. And again, people get all weird about it. They get all mad about it because their short-term mindsets are like, oh no, I want it to go up, up, up. I don't know why people feel that way. Why not? I mean, if your retirement age is certainly different, but if you're a young person, under the age of say 50 even, having an opportunity to buy equities or buy NASDAQ shares, QQQ, whatever, down around this area is certainly going to be more profitable long-term than buying them up here, right? We wanted to go in a bull run. We wanted to go way up, but why not root for getting a really good deal? And again, if this drops down to those levels or it starts to go into a true, bear market, which again, this was a bear market, but we have this bounce now. So if this goes into, another bear cycle or another bear leg here, then I think Bitcoin experiences a sell-off as well. But same thing for Bitcoin. I think if it does sell off, I think eventually if the stocks go back up, which, in history, equities have always went back up, the major equities, not every individual stock, but the major indexes. So, I think that Bitcoin eventually goes back up too. Now, as far as how high Bitcoin goes, if it's got a future of 250,000 or a million, all of that, I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it really just depends on how much mass adoption Bitcoin can get. I'm pretty skeptical that it would ever be worth $1 million or even $250,000 per Bitcoin. I tend to think that, 69,000 may be the euphoric high for Bitcoin. But, it's hard to say that. I mean, if spot ETFs start getting approved and we start seeing a lot of demand, then it's anybody's guess as to how high Bitcoin could go. But me personally, I'm not heavily invested in Bitcoin. I do have a cryptocurrency portfolio that I'm holding long term. And I think that for most people, it makes sense to have at least some cryptocurrency. But as far as, betting my future on it, no, certainly not. I don't have any intentions of putting in massive amounts of money into crypto. One of the things that served as a wake-up call this last cycle was so many sites went down. I mean, I had multiple sites I had money on that went down. And some of those sites I lost money on. Some I was able to, just narrowly get my money off in time. Like FTX, I got almost everything off before it went down. But it's like today I got an email saying that Binance.com is, closing my account because I'm in the US, which I haven't traded there in a long time. But I still had some coins on there, tokens on there that I couldn't, didn't have anywhere else to send. So, I've got to deal with that. And I've had Cryptopia went down, and there was Coin Exchange, I think it was called, went down, and several sites have went down and taken my money with them. And so, like me personally, I'm probably never going to get to the point, like I was in the past, I would have these 6-figure investments in cryptocurrency. I'm probably never going to be there again, right? I'm probably never going to put that kind of money in because there's just too much risk. There's no insurance on those funds. Like when I have my stock portfolio, I have the cash is FDIC insured because it's swept into FDIC insured accounts. And then my actual assets themselves are insured by, I believe it's called SIPC. I always forget the acronym. I believe it's SIPC insurance, which is it's not a huge amount, but it at least covers like $500,000, which is a lot of money for sure. But you get into cryptocurrency and you basically have zero insurance, and there were times when I had way more money than what I should have on cryptocurrency exchanges. And it was just, in hindsight, it's pretty crazy to think that, I had all that money on there with absolutely no assurance that it was safe. So I doubt that I ever get back into Bitcoin. At one point I had a couple dozen Bitcoin. I doubt I ever get back to that level. I'm happy with equities and things where I'm a little safer. But I will definitely have a portfolio, even if it's not a massive amount. I will definitely have a portfolio. Still interested in trading it if sites come down on their fees and get more reasonable for U.S. traders. Right now, it's just ridiculous. U.S. traders have their legs cut out from under them because of the fees. But trading it is definitely interesting. And again, I think, putting small amounts of money into it. I say small amounts, I'm not talking about like $5, but, depending on how much money you have in the bank and stuff, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, stuff like that. I don't see that as being absurd at all. And especially if you take it and put it in a private wallet, a little safer if you're responsible and put it in a safe deposit box, whatever you want to do with it, kind of thing. So yeah, there's options there. I still like crypto. I don't do a lot of videos because I'm not trading crypto. A lot of people do videos and they don't actually trade. And so, they can just pump out video after video after video. But I was trading crypto, which is why I was always doing videos on crypto. I was trading it every single day. Now I'm not. I honestly have no idea when the last time I traded cryptocurrency was. It's been months ago since I traded crypto because Bybit did KYC, which meant I could no longer trade on Bybit, which is where I was getting my 0.06% fees. And trading on US sites, the fees are much, much higher. And I've talked about this in the past, but to give you guys an idea, like my busiest day in the last 6 months, volume-wise, I traded about $7.5 million worth of volume in equities. And the total fees, the regulatory fees and stuff, were about $65 or $60, somewhere in that ballpark. Had I traded the same $7.5 million on, say, Coinbase, I would have paid $15,000 to $20,000 in fees that day. So it just doesn't make any sense for me to trade crypto at this point. So that's why I'm not doing it. And since I'm not trading it, I'm not looking at crypto charts every day. I'm not looking at Bitcoin every day. Most of the time, I don't even know how much Bitcoin is. I know it's somewhere around 25, 30,000. That's about the only thing I know about Bitcoin most days. So yeah, that's why I'm not doing videos, because I'm not clued in on Bitcoin at this point. I'm just watching as kind of a curious observer until it makes sense for me to personally get back involved with trading it. And that's not, at least for now, that's not on the horizon. Now there's ETFs and stuff I can trade, but I don't mess with them a whole lot. I trade mostly equities. So that's where I'm at for now. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this update video. I think it's pretty interesting how, again, we are nearly 2 years out from when I first posted this chart in November of 2021. And I feel like it's been pretty good. I feel like the market's certainly followed it better than most would have expected it to. I know a lot of people had a lot of skepticism over this when I posted it, but relative strength charts are pretty neat and they're very effective. So I did a couple of videos on relative strength charts. If you don't understand them, make sure you go check them out. I think I did one a few weeks ago that was maybe 3 or 4 minutes long, kind of help you out in your trading endeavors, I believe. All that being said, I'm some guy still sitting in a spare bedroom, which means that I am not a financial advisor. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, precious metals, Forex, or any other tradable asset. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, you can find a link to my Facebook group down in the description. I tend to post more frequently there because it's easier and faster. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Make sure to leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next one.